Okay, we're back. I'm going to give this another bit of a blast. Tweak some settings. Listen back, watch back. Looked at the quality of the stream. It was stable, which is good. That's what we like to see. Levels were a little bit loud in some places. Definitely turned the sound effects down a little bit more, because the sound effects of this game is just so intrusive. So that shouldn't feel so overpowering. I've turned the music down just a touch, and I've hopefully actually increased the quality of the stream itself, because I recognise my bitrate that I was putting out was a little bit low, way lower than I can actually output. And I am playing the game on a 2K screen. It looks very pretty. So I'm just hoping the quality of the stream will be a little bit better. So yeah, test 2. We'll see how we get on. Sound. I was quite happy with the microphone quality. So I've actually reverted back to what I was using rather than the more sensitive version. Obviously the AI thing is working. So, like I say, I'm very much rusty at streaming. It's been some time since I've played about with streaming software, or even bothered to do this. But I'm quite keen just to begin relearning things. It was Twitch I was using before. I'm quite keen to just actually focus on YouTube, because YouTube's awesome. So we'll see how we get on. And what I have been doing is looking for ideal base locations on Paradise Planet. So I love this game. Love this game very much. I've played it ever since it first came out. I was thoroughly disappointed, like many, but I still had faith in the game, in its potential, in its future. I never got rid of my copy. Probably put about 30-40 hours into it when I first started playing, and then put it down. And then as the updates started to roll in, I would periodically come back and test it out. But certainly over the last few years, it's had me. You know, I've been fully back in, fully immersed, loving every moment of it. And with the last 2 updates, the big updates, you know, Worlds Part 1, Worlds Part 2, yeah, it's a dream. Now I'm just dual screening for a second, because I'm just going to bring up my stream on my phone, just so I can see chat, just see if I can continue to see the stream quality itself, see where we're at, making sure that we're still synced. But yeah, I'm not going to be pissing around. I'm just going to get on with what I'm getting on with. So yeah, the intention is to find a Paradise Planet on an orange star. So I'm actually not looking in purple stars at the moment, purely because I'm looking to build a base for people that I'm trying to get into the game. So there's no point in me putting or finding any bases in those systems yet, because they won't have access to them. So I want effectively a base that they can access early on, and that's useful to them. Just a bit of fun, because obviously when you start out you have no base building paths, you don't know what you're doing. So if I could get some sort of primary base going that looks a bit pretty, overlooking a beach somewhere, you know, got some access to some basic resources, then they're off, aren't they? Because I have actually restarted playing the this game on my Switch, because I love it. So why wouldn't I? And I've always been quite curious to see how it runs on Switch, because obviously Switch is so old now, and I love my Switch. I don't want to I don't want that to sound like I'm throwing shade towards Nintendo. And it's very impressive what the Switch has been able to do, but I guess that is kind of like the wizardry of the developers themselves that have been able to kind of optimize and scale their games down to be able to do what they do. And with the AMD, I think it was Worlds Part 1, the AMD kind of the upscaling really changed how it played on Switch. I wasn't really interested in playing it before because it just looked so muddy and blurry, and now it's actually rather playable. And I've really been thoroughly enjoying my time on the Switch version itself. Like, surprisingly pretty. And like the HD rumble on the controller, awesome. Play it in handheld, obviously. I don't play it on screen, otherwise you would, your eyes would bleed. But on handheld, on my OLED, very nice. So yeah, I've actually been replaying the story, just to remember. I'm also quite keen. Just check if these have got light showers. Light showers sound good. There's no water on it though. Yeah, I'm just quite keen to remember what the early game experience is like, because I've played this game for so long, and this is an end game save with lots of upgrades and farms. I've kind of forgotten what the early game feels like. I've forgotten what the challenge feels like, what the process feels like. I've obviously been curious to see if it's been updated, because there's a lot to do in the game. But I guess when you get to the end of the game, you've kind of done a lot of it, so you're always waiting for the next new thing, and then when it comes, it just gets rinsed, doesn't it? We just smash through it very quickly. And I think it's easy to forget that, what feels simple to you. It's that moon, isn't it? It's that moon, yeah. Isn't necessarily intuitive or obvious to new players. So when I've been restarting, I've come back to remembering how bloody tedious the start of the game is. Like, I've bought this game a couple of times for people who really care about, trying to spread that love, give that money to Hello Games for the hard work that they do. And I've often found what they've done is kind of bounce off quite early on. So they're in the game. They're obviously starting near their crashed ship, and they're trying to figure out this clunky menu system of crafting, of collecting resources, going back into this menu, crafting this thing, then selecting the ship. And like, as a long-term player, that all makes sense. I'm so used to just doing that, it doesn't feel odd, I guess. But I've seen so many times with new players that it doesn't feel all that intuitive to them, and it's a lot of back and forth, and I don't think some of them are truly understanding of how it all works. Yeah, and particularly if they're not gamers, they don't understand gamer logic. So I've often found like that, they get the ship built, they get off planet, they get to the first bit where they build a base, and then maybe get the hyperdrive built, blast off into a new system, and then never see them pick it back up again. So there needs to be some work there. But it helps if you do obviously have some gamer logic, and it certainly helps if you've got friends that help you along the way. So yeah, I've been going back through it on Switch, just seeing what it feels like. I'm quite keen to get to the end game content on there, because I want to know how it runs, and unfortunately I can't bring this save over to the Switch yet because of the cloud saves. They're obviously fully backed up, so I will wait patiently. But I've been enjoying going through the story, basically, and just seeing how things unlock. And I think once you get past that initial slog, You know, once you understand once you build up a bit of a stockpile of something, and you've got a little bit more inventory space, then, and a little bit of cash, you know, because then you can buy resources, and then, you know, that early inventory material grind isn't so tedious. It's still tedious because obviously constantly everything's requiring you to have materials all the time, and I think it can certainly be frustrating if you're building it and then you're coming back and I need more. But that's my cat. Are you coming up here then? Come on. Up you come. Come on then, mate. I think my cat gets a little bit jealous when I'm not paying attention to it and paying attention to my screen. But it has got a cat bed next to me, so he does often sit up here. Are you coming up here, Django? Come on. Up you come, boy. The Worlds Part 2 I have been very much enjoying. I think when Worlds Part 1 came out last summer, I was fully back in love with the game again, you know. Fully in awe of it. Some of the smaller, more regular updates, obviously they're so exciting to still be a part of, but you can often get through whatever it is fairly quickly. You know, maybe there's an expedition and maybe the game gets put down for a bit. But I really feel like with Worlds Part 1, like I just felt this sense of awe again. And it certainly kept me hooked into the game for a while, just rediscovering things. It encouraged me to want to explore. So I spent a lot of time moving through the terrain, and weirdly, like I've always not really spent much time in the Exocraft, because they're not, or certainly haven't been in my history of the game, like kind of put in front of you as a must. I think I've probably, part of it's probably like so used to not using it that I'll use the jetpack throw, because it's quick, and obviously when you've souped up your ship, a very efficient way to get across the planet is with your ship, but that really does kill a lot of exploration joy. So I decided to get in the Exocrafts, and I feel like I've been missing out a lot because it kept me pinned to the planet more, which meant that actually what I considered, well, I know what everything that's to be seen on this planet. You know, you make that assumption when you see the biome, and you start to get a bit used to the algorithm. But actually I've been pleasantly surprised that that isn't the case with the Exocraft. It showed me much more of the terrain generation, even in this model. And I've been pleasantly surprised with certainly the caves. I mean, I really didn't spend much time in the caves before, so I was kind of like, you know, really just walking around, loving them. I bloody hate these mushroom ones. No, see ya. Got the same for them. Yeah, the cave ambulance, and it's just, again, it's like these are hidden parts of the game. Really, you're not really encouraged to go down into them. And I think it was the Prisms update that updated the caves, but because there's been no real gameplay incentive to go down there, I've often bounced off it. You know, I've not really spent any time. So when I played Worlds and got immersed into Worlds and spent more time on the Worlds because I was using the Exocraft, then all of this magic started to happen because I was experiencing some of the content that's been in the game for a while. So maybe Worlds 1 maybe felt a little bit more packed for me, but I still feel like it really added a lot. And then obviously with Worlds Part 2, with the terrain generation, ooh boy, the gas giants, I mean, wow. reading those patch notes. I was sat there for a good half an hour, just audibly wowing to myself. And they just kept coming. And as a long-time fan, yeah, unbelievably satisfying to read through all of that. To get another kind of big summer update after already having one. I mean, of course, it's part 2. It looked like they were looking to bring both of those updates together for summer last summer anyway, so... But given the fact that it's only been like 6 months wait, or maybe even less, it's felt like 2 real big content drops, one after the other, so... Definitely excited. But yeah, since kind of looking for this orange star paradise, I've been keeping away from purple systems for a bit, and yeah, I'm keen to get back. So I don't really want to continue base searching for too much longer, because there's more stuff to see. Gas Giants, I was a little bit disappointed with, actually. I mean, don't get me wrong, I don't want to... I'm not moaning. They're gorgeous, very, very, very pretty to look at, and the atmosphere of coming onto my first one felt very tense, felt quite claustrophobic, actually, with the sound design and the atmospherics. And because obviously it was kind of like bundled up as end game content, I've been... You know, there's a bit of fear going on to that when you're coming through that atmosphere. And then, wow, you know, you get down there in the storms. Really, really visually pretty. But you get out, and for a while, you know, I was very much avoiding the lightning and the wind, because I didn't want to get rinsed, basically. Ah, it's mushrooms again. We'll get out. We'll have a look. But because I didn't want to get rinsed by the dangers, you know, I was desperately trying to keep myself safe, you know, because I felt there was a genuine threat. And then as a bit of time moved on, I realised that there actually isn't. So it kind of... That immediate awe kind of almost fell flat. It's just another very beautiful vista, but gameplay-wise not a lot of challenge, which is a shame, considering it's considered endgame. But the same thing happened when I went onto the water planets. Terrifying. You get about 100 U down and it's just black abyss, you know. I've played a little bit of Subnautica, and I've often felt a lot of anxiety playing that game. But it's like weirdly addicting. Hello, dude. So yeah, really excited to see like the deep oceans. But I had to get like I wasn't in the submarine when I first went on the dive on No Man's Sky, but I just felt like I needed more safety when I was jumping down, so I ended up building the platform and going in the submarine on the way down. I think that was like, again, muscle memory from Subnautica, I think, because just give you that extra layer of protection. But as I got further down, again, it's like you realise it's actually fairly safe down there. There's nothing other than the pressure, and that's not really a hard thing to combat. No real actual danger. So, but again, these are just foundations, we hope, and it's very clear that Hello Games are listening to our feedback and wanting to. I mean, just look at that reflection. They're wanting to offer us our sci-fi fantasies, aren't they? So, you know, I have faith. They will continue to iterate and add to these things. But I guess where I'm most excited to get back to the purple systems is the terrain generation itself, because this stuff, it's been in the game a long time, and it does feel... I think now I've spent a number of hours with it since Worlds Part 1. Just like walking around and driving through it. It's fairly predictable, but the little bit of time that I have spent with Worlds Part 2 on the purple, there's multiple levels of terrain You get that a little bit here. You know, you can get mountainous areas and it flattens out, and then there can be ocean and stuff. But the variation in that purple system is unbelievably improved. I mean, the mountains just look like mountains. One of them that I climbed, I was falling through the top of it, so I'm not even sure whether like the top of the mountain was considered space. Be interesting to see, and obviously the ocean depth of the newer terrain is much deeper, so it all just feels that's where the magic is at the moment. But I'm going to move on from this planet because I don't like mushrooms. I don't like these mushroom planets, and the green atmosphere ain't it for me, so we're going to get out of here and continue to see if we can find something. I want a bit of an Earth-like, really. Beach view, blue atmosphere. I know it seems very cliche and boring, but because it's meant to be like a peaceful starter base, I want it to be safe, I want it to be familiar, I want it to be pretty. I've got about 4 locations bookmarked, maybe 5. One of those 5 is more for me, actually, because it's a bit of a jungle planet, and I was just very much in awe of looking at the new trees and stuff. So, but I think if I can find one more, then there's about 6 or 7 to look at, and it ain't quick to find a paradise planet. You know, it takes a bit of time, jumping from system to system, using the technology, getting out, flying down, you know, finding a spot. It's all part of the magic, but yeah, it's actually I've spent quite a few hours looking at potential build locations, so. Paradise blue. That's nice and blue. Yeah, we'll go check that out then. I just always get very disappointed when I just see the mushrooms. They don't get me wrong. It's nice to have the variation, but in terms of a base where a planet where I want to build a base, I want them trees, baby. Silly vista. Is this the one? It is indeed. Let's go. And I often get gaslighted by that scanning system, because it brings up a starborn planet. You see something that looks Earth-like, and you're like, yes. So you go down there and check it out, and it's ugly. Some mushrooms again, look. You son of a gun. Yeah, it's this little purple pinky things, like, again, cool for variation, but like in terms of a vista to look at with the atmosphere, I mean, I think that's something that's taken me out in the past as well, is red atmosphere. Like, no, the blue atmosphere. So yeah, it's a dud. We move on. Gotta keep moving. I think some of the is it Visions? I think it was Visions. I'm sure that was an update name. Some of those like plain grass planets, just open fields. I love them. I feel like I'd like a lot more of that, you know, planets that have like the grass without the fauna. My biggest one, but it's 2 actually for terrain. Maybe no, there's 3. But my biggest one would be dense forest. You know, ever since that first trailer, the Infinite Worlds trailer. I mean, it was in the game. The engine was doing it. They had it. This beautiful misty vista, lots of woodland, parking their spaceship on top of a rock. You know, it was gorgeous. That's what I want. I want that vista more than anything else, for sure. The Reliquary, usually mild. I've got a feeling that's going to be full of relics, which I'm all for, and overlooking a ringed planet. Yeah, why not? Why not? But yeah, that dense forest. I want that. And when they, in the patch notes, when they talked about dense jungle, there was some audible noise that left my mouth. But unfortunately, although it does have pockets of density and it's very pretty to look at and it's good for photo opportunities when you're amongst it, there isn't actually a lot of trees. So, yeah, that can be a little bit fairly disappointing, to be honest. And it talked about the other, I mean, the secondary one is sand dunes. So I've, again, ever since that, those early gameplay trailers with that sandworm scooting across the planet, ever since, you know, watching Dune, that sand dune fantasy, woo, it's real. Star Wars, you know, I want speeder bikes. I want a speeder bike. I want to be flying across that landscape on a speeder bike. Yeah, I thought it was really one. Nice. With my cape flapping behind me. Beautiful horizon. No fauna. Oh wow! Look at the beauty of it. This is a pretty one. This is pretty. I like that, and beautiful vista. This has got potential. This has got potential for sure. What time is it? 8 minutes past 8 in the morning. So sun's over there. It's probably going to set somewhere in the south. But we'll just take a moment to appreciate what is around us. What I love about these relics is the change in aesthetic on each planet. I don't know if I haven't seen that really been kind of focused on or talked about, but often a lot of these assets are very static. But these relics in particular, they kind of blend in with the whatever biome it's in, and I really like that detail. Really adds something to it. I think I first noticed it on the snow planets because I saw snow like gently resting on them. And I was quite like, oh my god, dynamic snow? Question mark? No, it wasn't. Fortunately, no footprints in it. But yeah, and then I started to go across a few more. Just look at that. Just look at that. Get rid of that. Wow. Just look at it. Look at the state of it. Look at the state of this game. Wow. Get rid of them. Look at that. 7 out of 10. Beautiful game. IGN. Yeah. They're just awesome. I think I'm going to have to get a little snappy of that. Really, really like that. Maybe move this out a little. Oh, not in. Out. Yeah. Yeah. We'll get some clouds in there. Too many. Get rid of that. We'll take one of that. And then we'll also manipulate the game into giving us what we want. Oh yeah. We'll have that one. What does nighttime look like? Wow. God, this game, man. We'll have that one. Thank you. So yeah, these vary. Don't take all that long to collect. Certainly a nice addition. I mean, I definitely was hoping for a little bit more structure to them sometimes, like it in terms of maybe the formation that they create, because they are just like very randomly scattered, so it doesn't necessarily look like a civilization was here, you know. But regardless, it is still a very pretty vista.
It's a game. It's not realistic, it's a simulation. Just chill out, boy.
Yeah, I know, I hear you.
Just enjoy it.
I do. I do. But the black and white thinker in me sometimes
It just doesn't make logical sense, does it? Doesn't make sense.
well, oh, that light shaft over that. Wow. I don't know if the stream's picking that up. I'm just going to stand still just in case not, but look at them. Lighting in this game. I think that's been probably for me the World's Part 2 update. It's been most favourite for me. Is the lighting. Yeah, you've got the waves, and it's cool. But I think that lighting has made such a massive difference to the game. Like inside caves, unbelievably gorgeous. Like my favourite bit of lighting, or one of my favourites, is in the abandoned space stations, and they're not just in there; they're in some of the prefabs. But they're like a corridor that you walk through, and there's like a white light that goes around it, and that just yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm a sucker for Alien. It's what I want. Anything that gives that aesthetic, and I'm there, you know. Give it to me. It's like the derelict freighters. Best, still, S-class, update. And I really hope they revisit that at some point, flesh it out a little bit more, and just put a little bit more horror in the game. You know, I know it's a kids' game, but it's alright to get a little bit scared in it. Come on. And I think that's sometimes what I've got to remember. It's a kids' game. I don't care. Put gambling in it. Put alcohol in it. I mean, to be fair, there's references to drugs in this game. There's violence. I mean, it's a very dark storyline, so subtle, I would say. But I mean, when you're reading it, the storyline is very on the nose. I mean, that doesn't hide anything. It's just very dark. Anyway, I am after a beachfront, aren't I? So I should probably carry on with that. I believe the sun set is. I can double check, can't I? Is probably south-facing. What time is it here? Yeah, 1 o'clock. Unless it is setting that way, we'll just double check. Oh, easy. Oh, it's going sideways. Interesting. Oh, 6 o'clock. I wonder if it's actually going to go dark. It might not even go dark. Just remains sunset here. Nice. What are the chances? Okay, well, no sunset where I'm currently stood. Yeah, that's a glitch. Let's go check it out. Oh, I mean, they said beachfront. I need to keep just gotta. Sometimes you just gotta enjoy what it's giving you. You know. Look at that. Look at that. And the reflections, man. It's everything. Everything. As I sit here lovingly looking at the screen. So, beach. Let's get back on task. Let's see Owagawan. Should probably get out of the planet a little bit. And just see where the coastline is. Oh, it's islands. Okay. We'll get one on edge. See what that looks like. Lovely and green. I don't know if I've seen relics and floating islands yet. I'm not sure if that is a combination that is in-game. I should think it is, as they've added like a lot of different variation. Check that out down there. We'll drive. Lovely little quality of life feature they've added in the game is just being able to spawn your exocraft anywhere. Which is cool, because sometimes I like to leave my freighter in the system that it's in, so I've got like a bookmark of where I was exploring, because if you go on missions and stuff in the Nexus, sometimes you like lose where you were, and that I know it's in the grand scheme of things with how many planets are in the game, it doesn't really matter, because it's not like you're gonna see everything anyway, but like in my mind I was in a process, you know, I was in the middle of it. That's pretty, isn't it? Nice crashed freighter, bit of beach. It's not beach, but you buggers. I want them deleted, I really do. That'd be great. It'd be great if you could amend that in the sandbox settings. Because my desire would be to not have them. Not necessarily hazardous flora. You know, I don't mind risk of death. You know, and these ones, they can still be quite ugly and easy to see because of the red bit, but they are a hell of a lot less intrusive than those gaseous ones. Those gaseous ones stand out so badly. There doesn't seem to be any variation with them. They're certainly in like the gas and the colour. So just get rid. I actually was losing my head the other day, doing what I'm doing now, looking for a paradise planet, and just like there was like 10 of them around me, and it was just all you could hear was that. Like, no, just absolutely kills the vibe. Just get rid. Sunset. What does it look like? Let's find out. So it's not setting over here. Oh, that's pretty, isn't it? Where is it setting though? Possibly in that direction? Yes. Okay, so it's got... Wow. Wow. It's got sunset in that direction. It's got the beautiful ring planet. I think this is a big contender. I do. So I think that will be my last base potential. I feel like I've searched a lot for this. And I really would like to experience other parts of the game. Particularly the purple system terrain gen. So, yeah, I'm going to move on from finding this in orange systems now. So, yeah, I'm feeling quite accomplished with that. Nice. So this is where I will call this second test stream. Simply what I am doing today is just testing out my hardware, testing out the sound, testing out the stability of the stream, what's the quality look like. So I'm not really that focused on how pretty and pristine everything, or how smooth everything is. I'm more interested in the functionality at the moment. Because everything else can be tased up later on down the line. But I'm probably going to go check this over, see what it looks like, see if any more adjustments need to be made, and then I may do another third test for the day. And make any amendments to any tweaks that I need to do, but just get on the purple system hype. So give myself a save, and yeah, I think that will do for me.